EU announces aid deal for Gaza as Israeli strikes kill dozens. According to the Associated Press, European officials announced a deal to increase food and fuel aid to Gaza, reactivating corridors from Jordan and Egypt to address a looming famine. The agreement came as Israeli strikes pounded the Gaza Strip, killing at least 36 Palestinians overnight. In one incident, an Israeli strike killed 14 people, including 9 children, who were waiting for nutritional supplements outside a clinic run by the aid group Project Hope in central Gaza. U.S. and Israel discuss 60-day Gaza ceasefire proposal. According to the Associated Press, U.S. President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu met to discuss a U.S.-led proposal for a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza. The plan aims to pause the fighting, increase humanitarian aid, and secure the release of at least some of the remaining hostages. However, a key sticking point remains whether the pause would lead to a permanent end to the war, a condition Hamas insists upon for the release of all hostages. Violence surges in West Bank as 9 Palestinians killed. According to Reuters, 9 Palestinians, including 1 child, were killed by Israeli forces and settlers in the occupied West Bank over the past week. In one incident, a Palestinian American was reportedly surrounded and beaten to death by settlers near Ramallah. Human rights organizations state that the number of settler attacks has skyrocketed since January 2025, with many incidents occurring in the presence of Israeli soldiers, leading to accusations of state-condoned violence. Houthi rebels attack commercial vessel in Red Sea. According to the Associated Press, Yemen's Houthi rebels have continued their attacks on maritime shipping, striking a bulk carrier in the Red Sea. The attack disabled the vessel's engines and caused it to take on water, forcing the 22 crew members to abandon ship before being rescued. The Houthis have stated their operations targeting Israeli-linked shipping will continue until the war in Gaza ends and the siege is lifted, further disrupting a critical global trade route. EU mulls diplomatic action against Israel over human rights. According to Reuters, the European Union's foreign policy arm has presented member states with 10 options for diplomatic action against Israel. The move follows a finding of indications that Israel breached human rights obligations under its association agreement with the bloc. The proposed measures range from suspending the entire agreement to halting technical projects, though any significant action would require consensus among EU members, which is currently uncertain. Priest stabbed during televised mass in Montreal, Canada. According to the BBC, a priest was stabbed during a morning mass at St. Joseph's Oratory in Montreal, an attack that was captured on a live video stream. Father Claude Gru suffered minor injuries and is in stable condition. The suspect, a 26-year-old man, was apprehended by security at the scene and taken into police custody. The incident has shocked the community and drawn condemnation from public officials, including Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. U.S. announces 30% tariffs on EU and Mexico, escalating trade conflict. According to Reuters, the U.S. president announced new 30% tariffs on all goods imported from the European Union and Mexico, set to take effect on August 1. The move marks a significant escalation in global trade tensions and upends months of negotiations with 2 of America's largest trading partners. The announcement, made via social media, follows a week of similar tariff letters sent to other countries, including Canada, Japan, and Brazil. U.S. threatens 35% tariff on some Canadian goods. According to Bloomberg, the U.S. president has threatened a 35% tariff on certain Canadian goods, also effective August 1, escalating trade rhetoric against another key partner. The announcement cited unsustainable trade deficits and non-tariff barriers as justification. This follows the administration's broader threat to impose blanket tariffs of 15% to 20% on most global trading partners, a significant increase from the current 10% baseline minimum rate. EU vows retaliation as U.S. tariff threat triggers market uncertainty. According to the BBC, European leaders have criticized the proposed 30% U.S. tariff and are preparing retaliatory measures, signaling a new phase in the global trade conflict. Analysts note the move has likely topped market expectations and will put downward pressure on the euro. The EU had hoped to finalize a comprehensive trade agreement, but now faces the risk of an escalating cycle of countermeasures that could damage the export-led economies of the bloc. UK economy shrinks unexpectedly in May, fueling stagnation fears. According to The Times, the UK economy contracted by 0.1% in May, confounding market expectations of modest growth and marking the second consecutive monthly decline. The data from the Office for National Statistics points to a material slowdown in the second quarter, driven by factors including rising employment taxes and higher regulated prices. The weak performance put the pound sterling under pressure and heightened concerns about economic stagnation in the UK. China's GDP growth projected to slow, increasing pressure on policymakers. According to Reuters, a poll indicates that China's economic growth is projected to slow, increasing pressure on Beijing to implement further stimulus measures. The outlook is clouded by both domestic challenges, such as banks struggling with a push for consumer lending, and external headwinds, including the threat of escalating U.S. tariffs. This economic slowdown in the world's second-largest economy carries significant implications for global growth and commodity demand. U.S. stocks fall as new tariff announcements unnerve investors. According to Bloomberg, major U.S. stock indices, including the S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average, fell on Friday, snapping multi-week winning streaks. The retreat was driven by renewed investor concern over the White House's announcement of steep new tariffs on the EU, Mexico, and Canada. The uncertainty surrounding trade policy and its potential to spur inflation and slow economic growth overshadowed recent market optimism, leading to a risk-off sentiment to close the week. European and UK markets close lower on trade war fears. According to Reuters, European stock markets, including London's FTSE 100, Frankfurt's DAX, and Paris's CAC 40, all closed lower following the US tariff announcements. The threat of a transatlantic trade war weighed heavily on investor sentiment, particularly impacting export-oriented companies. The euro and pound sterling also weakened against the US dollar as markets priced in the heightened economic risk to the region. Asian markets show mixed reaction amid tariff uncertainty. According to Bloomberg, Asian markets displayed a cautious and mixed performance as investors digested the escalating US trade rhetoric. While Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index posted gains, Japan's Nikkei 225 and India's S&P BSE Sensex both declined. The uncertainty is creating a difficult environment for the region, which is already contending with signs of slowing growth in China and the potential for disrupted supply chains. Gold prices climb over 1% on safe haven demand. According to Reuters, the price of gold jumped more than 1% as investors sought safe haven assets amid the escalating trade tensions and geopolitical uncertainty. The precious metal, trading near $3,360 an ounce, benefited from the flight to safety after the U.S. announced new tariffs on major trading partners. The move reflects growing market anxiety about the potential for the trade disputes to destabilize the global economy. UK government and Meta launch £1 million open-source AI fellowship. According to Developer Tech, the UK government and Meta have launched a £1 million fellowship to embed top AI engineers within government departments. Backed by a grant to the Alan Turing Institute, the program will use open-source models like Meta's Llama to build sovereign AI tools for public services, national security, and planning reform. The initiative aims to boost productivity and establish the UK as an AI maker, not an AI taker. Indeed and Glassdoor to lay off 1,300 workers in AI-driven pivot. According to Bloomberg, career sites Indeed and Glassdoor are laying off 1,300 employees as their parent company, Recruit Holdings, adapts to artificial intelligence. The CEO stated in a memo that AI is changing the world, and we must adapt, signaling a major restructuring to integrate AI into the hiring process. The cuts, which primarily affect US-based R&D and operations teams, highlight the significant labor market disruption being caused by the technology. SpaceX to invest $2 billion in Elon Musk's XAI startup. According to Reuters, SpaceX is planning to invest $2 billion into XAI, Elon Musk's artificial intelligence startup. The move, reported by the Wall Street Journal, signals a significant capital injection for the company as it competes with rivals like OpenAI and Google in the capital-intensive race to develop advanced AI models. The investment deepens the financial and strategic ties between Musk's various technology ventures. Fashion giant Shein files confidentially for Hong Kong IPO. According to Bloomberg, Chinese fast fashion retailer Shein is said to have confidentially filed for an initial public offering in Hong Kong. The move follows intense scrutiny from U.S. lawmakers that complicated a potential listing in New York. A Hong Kong IPO would represent a major liquidity event for the e-commerce giant and would be a significant boost for the city's financial markets, which have seen a slowdown in major listings amid geopolitical tensions.